Let's learn how to do things multiple times. Let's learn how to do things multiple times. Let's learn how to do things multiple times. Alright, we find some back in here once more. And yes, I just like this intro for loops, because what we're going to learn is how to do things multiple times in freaking Deed. Now, I'm telling you, we're starting to really upgrade the things that we're going to be able to do, because now, you will go crazy. Okay, listen, let's first of all, let me give you something to do. And that something is output all numbers from 0 to 99. Now you're going to say, you won't, mate, because what I'm going to say is that you can, of course, say S out over here and then 0. And if you're really smart, you can use the Control D key and you can go, 1 and then 2 and then 3. However, I'm pretty sure you've already gathered, listen, this is ridiculous, right? There has to be an easier way. Even if you say, no, this is fine, I can do this. Okay, that's fine. Now I want you to output numbers, right? So I want you to output numbers, the following numbers between 1,000 and 2,000, and only leap years, please. Oh, okay. So if we start with this, right now we're like at an S out right here, and you start with 1,000, right? And then you're like 1,004, 1,008. Okay, it's going to take too long, right? This is definitely not the way to do it. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to use one of the greatest tools ever invented, which is the for loop. This is the loop that basically is for. So what does that mean? Well, it's going to look like this. It's going to look like for is going to be the keyword. Then we have the initialization with a semicolon. We have the condition with a semicolon, and we have the update and then the closing parentheses. And that is it. Here, very important, if the condition, right? So if condition is false, that is when the loop stops. Okay. Fair enough. How does this look like? Well, let's look at it for the outputting of all the numbers, right? So this would be the example over here. So example is 0 to 99. How does that look like? Well, we're going to type in for, and you can see the keyword over here. We can create it like this, but I want you to write this out for the first time, just so that you get the feel of it, how it looks like, right? So for, and then we get the parentheses again. We initialize something in here, and we initialize an integer inside of it, I equals 0. And a semicolon. So this is our initialization that I talked about before. Now, after this semicolon, we get a condition. What is the condition? The condition is I is smaller than 100. And once again, a semicolon, as said here. And then here we have an update. Now, what does the update entail? Well, this is 1 plus I plus plus. Then we need the curly bracket. Once again, the closing curly bracket automatically generates. And everything inside of here is going to be the loop, right? So this is the loop body, so to speak. So we're going to say S out I. And that is going to output I 0. So this is going to output whatever I is. Obviously, that starts at 0. What happens then? It checks the condition. 0 is smaller than 100. That's true. So it's going to output this. And then at the end of it, it's going to call this update over here. Boom. Now I is 1. Now it's going to check once again. 1 is smaller than 100. Yeah, that's true. So we're going to call this. Boom. And once again, I plus plus. Now it's 2, and so on and so forth, all the way until 100. And when this is 100, then 100 is no longer smaller than 100. Therefore, we're going to break, and it's done. And we can see if we run this, bada bing, bada boom, we go from 0 right here. Those are our custom ones over here at the top. And then we go from 0 all the way to 99. Easy peasy lemon frickin' squeezy. Now, this should already be amazing to you, because you're like, oh my God, there's so many different things that I could do now. Yes. Because obviously, this is one of the cool things. You don't have to put in numbers here. You can put in an integer here, right? Like we could do an integer count 2, right? And we can call this 100. And instead of the 100, we could put in count 2 over here. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh, right? So you could, for example, see maybe this draws a certain number of hearts onto the screen, depending on the health that you have. All sorts of things. And obviously, you can add more and more things inside of the for loop. This, I'm telling you, is crazy cool. Now, let's say we want to do the outputting of the leap years. What would we do now? Well, let's do the example over here. Like example, leap years, right? So leap years. Now, you can, if you wanted to, figure this out on your own as well. Very important, a leap year is divisible by 4, not divisible by 100, but is divisible by 400. So the if statement is going to look quite crazy. But yeah, we're going to start with 1,000 right here. We're going to say if this is smaller or equal to 2,000 because we want to include 2,000 in this, and then I++. And then here, well, if we want to output I only if the leap year is true. So this is going to be, it's going to look quite crazy. Like I said, you can still figure it out if you want to. If not, it's totally fine. So we want to say the modulo of 4 is equal to 0 because that is what defines a leap year, right? Because it's divisible by 4. However, it also has to be the following. I'm telling you, it's kind of crazy. It also has to be either divisible, not divisible by 100. So if you take the modulo of 100, it cannot be 0. Or if it is actually divisible by 100, it has to be divisible by 400. Boom. That's the sort of statement or the Boolean expression that I have for finding a leap year. And if we were to do that as out over here, then we can do I, bada bing, bada boom, and we could run this. Now there's gonna be quite a few of them, but there you go. So we can see that, for example, we can find that 1600 is a leap year, but 1500 should not be. There you go, because, well, that is divisible by 100, so it's not true, and it's not divisible by 400. Bada bing, bada boom. That means it gets skipped, because that's what the Gregorian calendar figured out. Now I don't think if they figured it out in, I don't know if when it actually was exactly, but yeah, that's why, by the way, why 2000 was indeed a leap year, because yes, it is divisible by 100. However, bada bing, bada boom, it is also divisible by 400, so it is a leap year again. Very interesting indeed. But this is completely out, this is not even important over here. Let's just like add the comment over here just so that you have this. As per usual, of course, the code is available to you as well. But this is really freaking cool already. But we're not done quite yet, because yes, we've seen the for loop, but what about the while loop? Now, oh boy, I can tell you the one thing, while loops, they don't like me and I don't like them, okay? Now there's a reason for this. If we have an integer over here that's health, right? Let's call it 10 over here. What we can say is, well, while health is, let's say, bigger than 0, we want to do something, right? Let's say, for example, the player is still alive with, let's say health over here, HP. All right, fair enough. Now, if we were to just run this, you know what's going to happen? That's what we call an infinite loop, because health is always going to be bigger than 0. So this is an infinite loop. So inside of this while loop, we have to somehow make sure that health decreases in some capacity. So health minus. Or we need to be able to break out of the loop in some capacity. We'll see this in just a second. But generally speaking, it's very, very important that when you use while loops, you somehow are able to break out of them, right? If I didn't have this health minus, which obviously takes the health, down every loop go through, right? If we run this, we can see we go to 1 HP and then we are done. Right, so this goes up until this is false again, and then we are done and no longer doing anything within the while loop. So this is what I'm saying over here. Caution for infinite loops. It's very straightforward. It's like very easy to make a while loop, like an infinite loop over here, and that obviously is going to crash. I'm pretty sure it's going to crash IntelliJ in its entirety. I'm pretty sure. So one thing that we could do for loops is there are certain keywords. Okay, so this is going to work for while loops, for for loops, it doesn't matter. So what we're going to do is we're going to reset the health over here to 10 again, because obviously now it is 0. And we're going to have the same while loop, right? While health is bigger than 10 or bigger than 0. Sorry, oh, that would have been a crazy mistake. And we're going to output the health. So this is going to be the same thing. We're going to decrease the health. And now I'm going to do the following. I'm going to say, well, if the health is 6, I want to actually skip that particular step. So I want to say if health equals 6, right? Then what I want to do is I want to continue. So this would actually skip the rest of the loop, right? The rest of the loop, right? So we can actually put this at the very front over here. So we're going to skip the 6. And if health is 2, what I then want to do then is I want to break. This breaks out of the loop, right? So this is basically exit and break out of the loop. So those are two very important keywords that we need to remember when it comes to loops: the continue keyword and the break keyword. We've seen the break keyword previously with the switch statements, and in this case, it functions fairly similarly actually, that it simply breaks out of whatever the loop is. You can even see that it highlights the loop that we're in, so those are basically related with each other. But yeah, that's going to mean we're going to output, let's just like put in a divider over here just so that we know where we are. I think that that's kind of a smart choice. and we're going to see that this is going to output 10, 9, 8, 7, and then skip the 6, and then at 3 it's going to stop because then it breaks out. Let's take a look if that is what happens, and here we see 10, 9, 8, 7, and then it didn't continue anymore. Well, now I'm baffled myself. Although, am I baffled myself? No, I'm actually not. Why am I not? Well, let's think about this. Let's actually go through the loop ourselves, okay? Let's say what we have is, we have 8 HP, right? That's true. Boom. No, no, yep. So we output 8 HP. We do 8 minus minus. All right, now we are at 7. 7, boom. No, no, yep. We output 7. 7, bomb. Now we are at 6. Health is now 6, right? Health is bigger. Yeah, that's true. Now this is true. Continue. All right, we go back. Now this is true. Continue. Now this is true. Continue. So literally, we're just stuck right here. Oh, look at that. So now if we were to take this, though, and move it down here, just for the sake of argument, right? All of a sudden, look at this. Boom. Now it outputs everything, including the 6, interestingly enough, but it will stop at 2. Now this is interesting stuff, isn't it, right? Because it actually also tells you over here, hey, this is not going to continue. Fair enough. Like, it doesn't work. I'm pretty sure if I were to take this down here, though, then it works, right? So you can see that when you look at the way that this is structured, and look at this one, right? Boom. And all of a sudden, it still outputs everything, even though now it says like, oh, this is not reached. Very, very interesting behavior over here that you can get. Now, I do recommend what you do, for example, is with a continue and the break keyword. Once again, you go into some, you make a for loop over here, you just do some if statements, and you just put in, oh, let's do a break over here. Let's make a continue over here. And of course, we will also see some examples. By the way, a lot of people do not like break or continue because it's sort of one of the things that a lot of people say is that when you program, you want to be able to, read from like top to down and then just, be okay. But the continue and the break sort of break that contract, quote unquote, right? Like it makes you to think, okay, when is this break? When, it's kind of strange because usually you will be able to make a program, anything sort of that does not use continue or break. But you still need to know about it because you will need to be able to figure out what that means if someone else uses it, obviously. Yeah, and that is loops over here. Maybe you need to watch it 2 or 3 more times in order for the things doing multiple things multiple times to really stick. I'm kidding, of course. That is loops. Super freaking awesome, and we'll use those all around in the future. They are great, specifically also for, I don't know, something like games, right? Because like, there's usually what's called a game loop. Well, let's think about that when we actually get there. For the time being, that's going to be it for this video right here. I genuinely hope you found this useful and you'll learn something new. I'll see you all in the next video. So, yeah.